All right, we're back with more of the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, and this was the official word. SportsCenter had this. Quenneville has resigned as Florida Panthers head coach after investigation into the Blackhawks sexual abuse case revealed he had knowledge of allegations when he was Chicago's coach in 2010. That's pretty much what that.
Hey, Bob.
Yes, Andrew.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
What did you make of what Dulac said a few minutes ago in your great CW sports report in the 10 o'clock block, talking about the Steelers bringing in defensive line help at the deadline and to offset the loss of the draft pick, dealing Ebron and or Melvin Ingram to make up for that? I'm not a fan at all of giving in to a guy who's now looking like a malcontent in Ingram, whose practice habits are now up for debate because he's had some of these non-injury practice designations and he wants out. I'm not a big fan of just giving him, what he wants, a la LeGarrette Blount or James Harrison, and giving into a guy when last year, Bob, they faced it firsthand. When guys got hurt, they'd have to put Cassius Marsh in at outside linebacker. I'm not a big fan of trading Melvin Ingram right now. You?
No, neither am I. And he knew what he was signing when he came here. He was not going to be the starter.
Yep.
He was going to be insurance, a $4 million insurance policy if something happened, whether it be injury, whether it be fall off of performance by Alex Highsmith. He knew what he's signing on for. And because his snaps have gone down now over the last several weeks pretty precipitously, now all of a sudden he wants out. I'm sorry, I don't do it either. They need him just in case, and so I wouldn't trade him, nor would I trade anyone else. I'm not trading anyone at the trade deadline.
Well, Ebron I would think about.
Yeah, but what are you going to get for Eric?
Ebron I would give thought
What
to.
would you get for Eric Ebron, realistically?
Not a lot, but I agree with Jerry's point with Ebron on this. If you were to somehow, and I don't think they'd get much, maybe like a conditional 6th or 7th round pick, if you get that back for Ebron, then maybe you can trade for a defensive lineman somewhere who's in a similar situation, who isn't playing well. He's a backup. Maybe he's got a resume, but he's having a bad year. I think that argument from in my opinion, from Jerry was very persuasive on the Ebron side of things.
All right, we'll see.
I think it's going to be hard to trade Ebron.
Yeah.
But Ingram, there's no way I would give in to him right now.
Neither would I. They need him too much, and he should understand that as he did when he signed the contract. Let's go to the lines. Got a lot of them, Andrew. We got John in Bloomfield on line 2. Wants to start us off here tonight with, I think, a popular topic. That is James Conner. What's up, John?
Hey, John.
Bob.
Yes.
Hi. Yes. In regard to James Conner, the Steelers, I feel, might have gave up on him a little early. He's having actually a better year than Najee Harris, I feel. He has 7 touchdowns. He has, a good average of yards. And between the two, I mean, if they would have kept Conner as even like a backup or someone to spell Najee, I think the production would have been there.
I think he's benefiting from being on a team with Kyler Murray, to be honest with you, and I think it's a great opportunity for him. I was not necessarily at all against trading or moving on from him, just because I knew that, he was what he was. He was a 3rd-round draft pick who could come in and do good things, especially in the red zone. He's done it again this year. But I have no problem with the way they've gone about, bringing in Najee Harris as a 1st-round pick. I said it then. I'm not going to change my mind, Andrew. I think that was the smart move for them to make.
Well, where they got the running back, I disagree with you on using a 1st-round pick. But as far as Conner goes, he was not good last year in short yardage here. It, to me, is the difference between the Cardinals line and the Steelers line. And also, when you play Arizona, you made a great point, Bob. You got to account for Murray as a running threat. And we've heard Mike Tomlin. Bob, Mike Tomlin wants to talk about quarterback mobility every week. Isn't that strange? I mean, he's not even asked questions. Seriously. He's not even asked questions about it. He goes out of his way every Tuesday to sneak in a line about that. I think as a defensive coach, he sees so much value in that dual threat component. So I give James Conner credit for extending his career. He's been able to punch it in. But if the caller is asking, would James Conner thrive behind this offensive line in Pittsburgh? Absolutely not.
No,
I don't believe
I
that.
totally agree. And they had to make that move, and that's fine. And I'm glad he's doing well, and he's taking advantage of the situation he's in. Let's go to line 1. That's Larry in Sharpsburg. Hey, Larry, how you doing?
Hey, Larry.
Hey, hi, Bob. Hi, Pony. Hey, listen, I just come back from the Penguin game, What is wrong with their power play? Can you really answer that for me?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Even when Crosby's healthy, Malkin's healthy, Letang's healthy, I mean, it just seems like it's not progressing like it's supposed to. I don't.
Well, Larry, I think the difference is what you just said. Those guys are not on it. When they're playing the way they're capable of, the star power you just mentioned will change a lot of the percentages you see.
Yeah.
You know, right now, Andrew.
I think there's some of that. I think there's some of that, Bob. There are two guys on the Penguins, as far as their power play now and just in general, that I have questions about. You know, Jake Gensel, who was so productive in the regular season and has been for a while now, it initially was so great in the playoffs. Last year, he was so bad against the Islanders. He got pushed around. He only has 1 goal so far. I know he's coming out of COVID protocol, but I just have some questions about him. And the other guy, Bob, is what is John Marino? You know, he was so good his rookie year. He was kind of in the Calder conversation. I thought he took a step back last year. And to be honest with you, I haven't been overly impressed by him so far this season when thrust into a bigger role. So I just wonder about him. They gave him a contract extension. I don't believe he's lived up to that so far.
Well, I also believe Kasperi Kapanen hasn't lived up to it. He has 0 goals so far on a team that has 14 different players who've scored goals, and he should be one of them. And for whatever reason, he's not doing it as well. We have some tweets I want to read right now before we go to break. Greg Lochner says the Steelers definitely can't afford to lose Melvin Ingram. He does have a point to be upset over playing time. Does he? He knew what he was getting into, George, so I disagree with that. And then we have Adam who says, why would the Penguins even think to put the Smith in? That's the only reason they lost. Well, first of all, he's got to play at some point. That's not the reason they lost. They got 0 goals. So basically, if you're a goaltender and you get a game and nobody scores.
Yeah, but I didn't think he had a good game.
I
didn't think he had a good game at all.
But they got to play him at some point, Andrew. You can't play Jari 82 games, period. Right?
I agree.
So.
Well, that I just don't like. You know, I love their effort so far and the way they've played stylistically with Sullivan, but I still don't trust their goaltending.
Okay, that could be both of them. But at some point, if you have both of those guys, you got to play to Smith at some point. You can't just run Jari out there every single game. So, I mean, that's what they did. Bottom line is they lost 4-0. They're now 3-2-2. And in this division, you could fall fast to the bottom of the division. We'll talk more about that. More calls on the way. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call right here live on Pittsburgh CW.